Yo, we are here. Yeah, I didn't know I was gonna review this either, man. But let's get to it. Roll it.
It's in my roots to work as hard as I do. Been on the money train looking for more better blues. Them school days, no class act. I was breaking all the rules. Life's a boomerang and I had nothing to lose. Another boy in the hood is how it come across. I feel like Dr. Doolittle, but the money talks. They yelling he got game, I'm not the wonder ball. This just some fresh soul food for every one of y'all. Yeah.
Yo, welcome back for another episode of Cornbread Movie Review. Hey, I love y'all. I don't know if y'all like to subscribe yet, but please make sure y'all do that, man. And then tell a friend to tell a friend, especially on this one. It's one of the hottest tickets out there. So let's get to it. Today we are going to talk about a anticipated movie that just swept the whole summer, right? And we're going to get into if that's good or bad and everything like that. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I ain't wearing this shirt for nothing, man. First off, this breast cancer, you know what I'm saying? But it still does the job anyway. It's my pink, you know what I'm saying? And yes, I wore pink when I watched the movie. All right, don't disrespect. But today, that movie is Barbie. Barbie is out, ladies and gentlemen, is in theaters. It is PG-13. If you're new to the channel, understand I do each movie review in 5 different categories: acting, cinematography, storytelling. Did I get what I bought? And then is it a must see? Adds it up, spits out a Cornbread movie review, and then I ain't gonna ever leave y'all without a forgotten movie. All right. So first category is acting. Who's in this movie? We got Margot Robbie. All right, man, she better than them things. But she's the stereotypical Barbie, right? So I think casting wise, it was a smart choice. So she plays Barbie. This movie, I think this is her first leading role where she really had to go into the range of acting. Usually she's the second fiddle of something, right? And she only gets a few scenes to really portray her skills. But in this, she had to be sad, confused, scared, happy, shocked, all these things. And one thing about her, let's say she's attractive, but I'm there to see her acting. And her acting didn't overpower the other actors, which is good because certain superstars or certain A-list actors overpower the extras, right? Or everybody else. She doesn't do that. She kind of takes, it's like cause and effect, right? She lets the extras or the B celebrities do something and then she reacts to that, right? Usually the protagonist is the person who does something and everybody else has to react. But this was kind of flipped in this movie. So it was great to see her reactions with her wide range. Every scene she was in, I think she knocked it out the park. Also in this movie, Ryan Gosling. Now, we've all seen Ryan Gosling in some top movies and in some not so good movies, but I don't know, somehow he always gets top bill, right? I think they both got 12.5 million for these roles for Ken and Barbie. So Gosling plays Ken. This one though was real. Going into it, I'm thinking Ken, I know how he's gonna act. And at least on the front half, it was the opposite of that, right? He wasn't the alpha in this. And then his character, he had to be in shape, right? Because they used the doll. But then he also had to be funny in certain areas and extra. Well, I'll get into the story. But he had to not only act, but let's say do comedy and sing and dance. And those are real cringy, bro. Who told Ryan Gosling to do that, man? Who? Come on, man. We got to do better. I think overall, the totality of the actors were okay. Has some top-notch celebrities in here, top-notch actors in here who did an okay job, but they're not going to win any awards and stuff like that. But totality, the chemistry looked good. There was a couple of pockets I think they could have did a little bit better, but maybe some of the scenes didn't put them in the best light. And I don't mean physical light, but just didn't put them in the best character development light for that. So for me, overall, acting is going to get a 4 out of 5. And that's primarily on Robbie's character. She killed Barbie, so she did a good job with that. All right. Next category, cinematography. This movie is an hour and 45 minutes, so it's not short, but it's not one of those 2 to 3 hour movies, so that's good. And also the budget was 145. I think originally it was supposed to be like 100, but based off of other budgeting and where the support that it got, it ended up making it to 145 million. And as you can see, the theme of this movie is pink. They had so much pink in this movie, it caused a shortage for a little bit, right? Like, look it up. I'm not playing. It really caused a pink shortage on how much pink paint or costumes or whatever that they used. It was an issue. This movie is also filmed in two locations. One in real location was Los Angeles. You know, that was on Venice Beach a lot. The other one is in Barbie Land, which I don't know physically where that was landed. It could have been Atlanta. I don't know. But they were in Barbie Land, a fictitious place. So we all know when you play with Barbie, it's up here. It's your imagination. So the characters were doing a lot of things that typically wouldn't happen when you're filming, right? You have somebody just being floated and going here, and then they're not really driving, but they're driving a car or in the water and certain things. So it opened up the imagination of on film. That's what it is, imagination on film. So you get some credit for that and some leeway, but I think all the sparkles and all this other stuff they were doing was just getting out of control. And then it started to mix reality with Barbie, and it had a bad mixture where you have Barbie doing Barbie stuff, and then when they go to the real world, it's different. So that makes sense, right? I love it. But then you have real world people going to the Barbie world, and the crossover was a little different, right? Like they didn't try to take a shower, but there was no water. They didn't have that imaginary mind because they weren't the Barbie part. So you get conflicting editing scenes with that. Like you following them, and then they change it up on you. It wasn't that many action scenes. It was a couple, let's say, air quote, fight scenes. But one part that I'm following y'all and I'm cool with when we got towards the end, and then it turns into a musical, bro. Bad timing. It wasn't. Why do we got that going on? I don't get it, man. So for me, cinematography is going to get a 3 out of 5. I think they executed what they did, but just keeping up with the execution of the creativity started to fall downhill, right? It's like they just edited only a couple things and they said, all right, we'll keep that theme throughout. But no, let's be more creative with what we're doing. So for me, 3 out of 5. All right. Next category, storytelling. So Barbie was created in 1959. I don't know when it hit America. I think it was like what they say, 62 or something like that. Fact check me on that. Please let me know in the comments. But you have an individual who's Barbie. The good thing is everybody's Barbie in this movie, all the females in Barbie Land, right? And then all the males are Ken for the most part. You know, I don't want to spoil everything, but for the most part, all the males are Ken, all races, right? Every race, everybody's Ken, everybody's Barbie, all races are Ken. So Robbie's character is the stereotypical Barbie, right? The white one. So everything's perfect. No issues. The things that kind of, let's say even the first scene, they're just going through their life, having a great party. Ken's trying to pull Barbie. You know, he's extra thirsty, bro. This dude is wilding out, extra thirsty. But they're living their life. Go to sleep, do it again. Go to sleep, do it again, right? Now, when something happens and she gets unplugged, now it's like the other Barbies treat her different, right? Because she's acting different. But then they know, hey, there's a real world that you can go to. They like know that they're Barbie. So it's very kind of weird. Like, hold on, they don't know they're Barbie, but then when a situation happens, now they know that they're not Barbie. And then a way to solve that is to go somewhere else, right? Like they had a damn party for her to go to the real world. So very strange. And then also, before I get into deeper dives of Barbie getting unplugged, you also have Ken, like I say, he's very thirsty. He's lost in life. All he wants is the attention from Barbie. And it's not only, he's getting attention from the other Barbies, but it's just that one Barbie that he's going for. And he doesn't know what else to do, right? So in this realm, you have Barbie running everything, all females running everything. And I guess that society is perfect. But it's only perfect for them. And I guess the men, it's not. So we're going to dive deeper on those things. So storytelling is going to get a lower grade, and I'm going to go into why in this. We've seen this storyline before, bro. There's nothing original about this storyline. Even down to if you just take the Matrix. They even had Matrix they hinted at it a couple times, like you want this shoe or this shoe, right? You got to pick or choose, and then they made a joke out of it. So I love that, especially Matrix being my favorite movie. But they made a joke about that. But other movies like Free Guy came out a couple years ago. That's about a character in a game breaking the Matrix and trying to beat the game, right, or figure out what's going on. You also had Don't Worry, Darling, where you have a society where I don't want to tell the movie either, but you have a person glitching out of the system. So we've seen this, especially in the past couple of years. So storytelling was not original. So even in the gender roles where women are doing everything and it's women empowerment, I love that. You had me, I was supporting it. And then when they go to the real world, obviously, well, I say obviously, but most of the time it's the males doing the work, especially like the physical labor and stuff like that. But the women were doing it. So it's a culture shock. This is where Barbie or Ken gets his spark in his head, right? Kind of becomes unplugged. And he sees, okay, I can be misogynistic and all this other stuff, and women need to do what I say, right? So some great messages in this movie. If they would have focused on that, I think the storyline would have been a little bit better, even though I can't come up with a solution now of how it could have been better to keep those nuggets that they wanted to get across, but have a different storyline with that. And then they start doing unlogical stuff, even the humans, right? Like you have the mom wanted to chase somebody in a car, but she gets out of the car and runs, and then the cars pull off. But she was just in the car. Why won't she just follow them in the car, right? Like to progress the story, they just start doing silly stuff when they're trying to catch people. So those are things that, come on, man, you don't get points for that. So storytelling is going to get a 3.5 out of 5. I'm going to dive deeper more with the storytelling in other categories. Because I want to unpack some of the great dialogue, the great conversation that they had in this movie. All right. So storytelling is going to get a 3.5 because of no originality, but at the same time, they didn't have anything to work on. So you do get originality with a Barbie movie. Okay. So let's get to the next category. Did I get what I bought? So this movie's $15. It's a comedy drama, standard ticket. Theater's still packed. I mean, I know it's been out a couple weeks since Barbie came out, and the theaters are still packed, right? People are still seeing this. And then growing up, you see that Barbie was white a lot when I was a little kid. But as time progresses, Barbie became very universal. And Mattel, I salute them for that. I mean, it could have been a money grab for them, like, hey, let's get these other, get the money from other cultures and demographics. But I think they had to branch out and then make Ken the same too. Make Ken different races, which is good. There was a hot take where Black Panther and Barbie are the same plot, right? But look up I'm sure it's online. You can look this up, the correlation between Black Panther and Barbie. I'm going to say no, I don't see it. And that's me looking for it. I'm looking for it. It wasn't like it was an epiphany or it just hit me. I'm looking for it to see the correlation. Not saying that there's not similarities, but I don't see that these two movies correlate. Also, some of my ignorance I didn't play with Barbie, right? I didn't play with Ken. I didn't play with none of that. So a couple of the dialogue conversations or maybe Easter eggs that they put in this movie, I missed it. It was over my head. And, like I said, I'm already acknowledging that, dang, what does that mean? Or I'm curious, or they didn't elaborate a little bit more. So I'm sure my ignorance is going to seep out in some of this category. But that's also me knowing. I tried to research as much as I could, but just watching the movie one time, I'm sure I missed some great Easter eggs. I like how they added a lot of the discontinued Barbies, right? You have, I guess, a Barbie with a TV on their back, which is weird. You got different Kens that they deactivated. You have a Barbie where she lifted up her arms and her boobs grew. Like, who came up with that idea? And then you got pregnant Barbie. Pregnant Barbie is wild, bro. Wild, wild, wild. So I really enjoyed that. I actually learned a lot with that type of culture and a little bit of the history with Barbie. So did I get what I bought? I'm going to say a 4 out of 5. I think if I was a little more in tune with what was going on or a little bit more understanding of the history of Barbie, even cinema. They put them in different costumes over time, but I couldn't know like, oh yeah, I remember when they came out in the 90s or 2000s. It's just I just looked at a costume or looked at what they highlighted on the screen. I know that goes in cinematography, but the ignorance of me, I couldn't say, yeah, oh yeah, I remember that or that's true and follow the storyline with that. So did I give what I bought? Is it gonna be a 4 out of 5? All right. Last category, is it a must see? This movie generated over $1 billion, bro, in the box office. So they always say theaters are dead, especially because of COVID and all the streaming platforms. And then movies are in the theaters for a week and then go into streaming, right? Obviously, theaters aren't dead. This is the hottest movie this year in the summer. So producers and directors you just have to create the right movie, get the right buzz, know what the people want, and it gets the people going, right? Ain't that what Kanye said? And Jay-Z. So I would say theaters aren't dead. You just got to get the right spot. I also learned that Barbie is short for Barbara. I guess the owner, I guess her name is Ruth. She's the creator of it, and she had a daughter, and her name was Barbara. So she created Barbie for that. So that's pretty cool. I wouldn't have learned that. Now let's get into some of the deep conversations that this movie produced. I agreed with 75, 80% of it, right? Where the women are talking about the hypocrisy, the double standards, the mansplaining of a lot of things. And it's correct. I can only speak on American culture, right? I haven't spent enough time in other countries to really get, I can't vote in other countries. I'm not there for longer than let's say a week or 2 weeks for vacation. So I'm only going to speak in American culture, where you have a society where men rule the world, right? Or rule the United States. And they're making these laws for men and men benefit, right? In Barbie land, you have a world where it's all women doing everything and they run all the laws. But in Barbie land, they're saying that's okay. But in America, men running it, it's not okay. I have a problem with that. Where, I'll give you an example where, let's say somebody says, man, slavery is bad. Yeah, it is bad. If you had a chance, would you do slavery? Hell yeah, I'll have some slaves. I'll make them do all blah, 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 blah. So really you don't think slavery is bad. You just think it's bad because it happened to you. That's what you're really saying. If slavery is bad, it shouldn't happen for anybody. So if one gender is running everything, it should be bad for everybody. That's a problem because in this movie, they wanted to keep Barbie land perfect and the same and great, but only have women run it. So that's kind of contradictory to what their argument was for America or the real world, okay? So that's a problem that I had, even though I'm with equal rights and everything, but it should be a mixture in both worlds, in Barbie land and America. It should be a mixture of genders and ideas and cultures and everything like that, not just one set running everything. Then lastly, last topic that I disagree with, where you have the women, they were getting brainwashed, right? And that's when the men were attracted to them, where they just did everything that the men said. They were very submissive, one-track thinking, doing crazy stuff for the men, right? And they were like, no, that's only when men are going to like us. So we have to get back on the program where we're strong, independent, we're doing all this stuff. But men still like you when you're like that too, right? I think that's one small piece that they didn't hit on, where men like strong women too. Men like women who are going to be motivated or going to be the president or doctors or lawyers or Pulitzer winners or Oscar winners or all that stuff. Men are attracted to that too, right? Not just the submissive woman. So that's just a small part where they missed out on. Obviously, I'm speaking in just general and from what I've seen. It's not a totality like this movie was having. So, but great messages. One of the best scenes I've seen this year, and I see movies all the time, was Women Have To. I don't want to say what happened because I would still want y'all to watch it, but that scene, that little 5-minute scene right there towards the end, women have to do this, but this, Great scene. Hopefully that scene. I don't even know if there's scenes of the year, but that's a top notch scene, man. So for me, as excited as I am, I'm gonna say it's a 5 out of 5, bro, and a must see. A lot better than what I thought the movie was gonna be. I went into it like I can't even believe I'm watching this, but it was a good turnout. So overall, Barbie is going to receive a 4 out of 5 from Cornbread Movie Review. Check out my 2023 movies, man. We getting through it. This is the part of the movie or part of the review where I give you the forgotten movie. All right, it's a movie that you forgot about, never heard of, or you definitely need to double back and watch. And this movie came out in 2015, rated R. And that movie, I love cooking movies, and this movie's called Burnt. Burnt, ladies and gentlemen, it has Bradley Cooper. It talks about the restaurant business. This shit is cutthroat, boy, and what certain chefs, certain restaurants would do to get those Michelin stars, and just the grind to even get there, right? Like the backstabbing, the mentorship, or losing relationships and sacrifices. So if you haven't seen Burnt, make sure you check that out. If you haven't seen Barbie, make sure you check that out. And also check out my other movies reviews as well. So I'll be back next week. Holla at your boy. Peace.